Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are now tuned in to Shantclubnfl, and we are live. We are live on Periscope. We are live on Twitch. We are also live on YouTube. Thanks for joining us. My name, as you know, is Nick, and welcome to my new recording studio, aka the garage, aka the bunker. Don't forget, we want you to follow us and like and subscribe our YouTube channel, where you'll see all our content that we put out, and you will also get notifications when we're going live. So make sure you like and subscribe that. You can also follow us on all our other social media platforms, which is all Shantclubnfl. So I know a lot of you guys, and we appreciate every single one of you that does follow us on all our social media. And we also have a Facebook group, which you have to apply to join because we don't want spam. They're all Shantclubnfl, Periscope, even Twitch is Shantclubnfl, so you know where to find us. If you want to email us to be on the show, it's shantclubnfl@mail.com. Right, without further ado, and I'm telling you now, we have got a great show lined up for you today. I'm going to introduce my co-host. It's that way. That way. No, that way. Whatever way. My co-host, Pete Chippan Simba Bentman. Pete, how you doing?
What an introduction. Thanks, Nick. You never disappoint me. Did miss you last week on the show, mate. It's a shame you couldn't be there. We had two amazing guests. The super fan, Claire de Bear, got so much enthusiasm for NFL. It was just great to sort of see her, and a lovely Susanna Taylor, who, to be fair, is the main reason we've set this show up, because she's made a little bit deeper into route running, a little bit sort of more information regarding the game, because as you know, have been a casual fan for years, but I want to learn a little bit more about the game. And last week's show, listening to how educated the two ladies were, made me sort of want to learn more about the game. And you've stepped up to the plate, Nick, and you've found an amazing guest that's going to give us a breakdown of some plays and really help me and a lot of other NFL UK fans and around the world that are probably like me, love the game, enjoy the game, know what's going on, a fan, but because we haven't been born in the sport, a lot we don't know. And our guest today is definitely going to help us out with being able to sort of get to that next level. But I do realise, obviously, I've come to the home of the 6-time Super Bowl champions, and I'm at Heinz Field, and I see that you've been kicked out into the garage, and I'm pretty sure there's a couple of boxes in the back of that garage from maybe the 1980s where you might find some film of when the Niners were actually any good and won some trophies. But you might have to dig a little bit deeper through all that sort of rubbish you got in the garage to find them archived films, Nick. What do you reckon?
I reckon it's about time you took that green screen down and showed everyone the toilet rolls that you normally hang up behind you. But yeah, no, we've got a great guest lined up, as you said, Pete. Also got to give a shout out to Pick Six Apparel T-shirts. Yeah. Beautiful.
Always got a bigger mug. They do look after.
And the mug there. There we go. There we go. As I said, we got a great guest lined up. I want to thank the Niners All Day show on YouTube. If you're a Niners fan and you're not subscribed, subscribe to that channel. Give a shout out to Dre and to Brawns. And basically, we've got him on a free transfer for a couple of weeks. He's going to break some film down for us, and I'm sure you are all going to learn something, because I know I will, and I know Pete will. Hellhound, how you doing? I don't know about barking, but welcome along. Right, without further ado, Pete, let's bring in the main man himself, all the way from New York. It's my man, Jason. Jason, how you doing, brother?
I'm great, Nick. I'm great, Pete. Great to be here. I'm excited.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we are so looking forward to you educating us, and I know Pete's looking forward to it too. So, where did you want to start, Jason? Did you want to let everyone know where they can find you and what your various channels, etc., are?
Right. So, yeah, as you guys can see, like right this way, yeah, right here. That's where you'll find me on Twitter. That's usually where I do a lot of my content when it comes to film clips and things like that. I write for 49ers Web Zone, 49ers Noir, and I am a contributor for Niners All Day. So if you follow me on Twitter, you'll be able to keep up with everything that I have going on right now. I have my YouTube channel also, which has one breakdown of 49ers run plays. So you guys can check that out on there too. It's Jason Aponte on YouTube. But yeah, I mean that's Twitter's where you'll be able to connect with me. That's how I found you guys. I have a very open door policy. If you guys want to talk at any time, I'm always down to talk ball. And yeah, I'm not here to educate you guys. We're just here to talk ball. That's it.
We're looking forward to it.
So you guys tell me where you want me to start. I have run plays. I have pass plays. You guys internet certified. Hello. Yeah, you guys tell me where you want to start. Do you want to start with run plays? You want to start with pass plays?
Well, we put out the dragon concept.
So we'll start there. That sounds good.
We'll go with some dragon concept.
Cool. So let me get this all ready. Yeah, we just got to share the screen. Okay, cool. Perfect, guys. Okay. Everybody can see what I have up?
Looking good, buddy.
Yeah, perfect. We got you.
Perfect. So as Pete alluded to, yes, I am a 49ers fan. Kind of hurt the comment that he just made about, looking for trophies because I was actually 11 the last time the 49ers won a Super Bowl. I'm 35 now. So yeah, it's been a little while. But this, my expertise is more, the 49ers, but, these concepts and things that I'm going to be showing you are used around the league. The quick passing game is something that the league is gravitating to. And when I say the quick passing game, I mean slant routes, which are usually 2 yards up and then either cutting left or right on the inside of the defender to make short, quick, easy throws and to line receivers up with yards after the catch. So while the slant and the quick passing game for the 49ers is something that is a staple of Kyle Shanahan's game plan, it really is taking over the league. So a lot of these concepts that I will be showing you are employed across the league. It's not just the 49ers. This just happens to be the 49ers spin on it, if that's the best way I could put it. So we want to talk about dragon concepts. So what does that mean, right? So let's take a look at this play here, okay? So let me move this down here so I can get that out of the way. Sorry, guys. So the dragon concept is basically it's a slant concept, right? What happens is you have 3 guys running basically the same route and 1 guy running a clear out route. And can you guys see my pointer right here? So I can highlight.
Yeah, man.
Okay,
yeah,
perfect.
Good.
Yeah,
okay.
We got it.
So what I want you to notice here is up here, this is Richie James, this is Emmanuel Sanders, this is George Kittle, and this is Deebo Samuel. Deebo Samuel is going to run a clear out route and take his man straight up here, okay, into this area, because the throw that Jimmy Garoppolo wants to make is in this area here, okay? So essentially what you're going to have is you're going to have Richie James run a slant here, Emmanuel Sanders run a slant here, and you're going to watch Deebo Samuel clear all this out to open up another lane for George Kittle just in case. What the dragon concept is a bunch of slants and an out route like this, a clear out route. What it's designed to do is it's designed to beat blitzes, and it's designed to beat single high coverage. So what does single high coverage mean? So this safety up here, right? And this is, again, a staple across the league. It's not just the Cardinals. This safety up here is the single high. Essentially, safety, the position, it's exactly what it sounds like. You are the last line of defense on the defense, right? So for them to feel comfortable enough to run a single high safety means that they have a lot of trust in you to be able to bring someone down and not allow anybody over your head, right? You guys following me? And please, if I'm going too fast or missing something, please stop me because I do have a tendency to go a little bit blabbermouth. Okay, cool.
No, good so far.
All right, cool. So we'll start the play. You'll see George Kittle here come into motion and sit himself right here in the slot. Okay. Now look, what the idea of the motion right here is to identify what sort of coverage is on the other side. Now, if George Kittle moves and this defender doesn't move, and you see another defender look, it means more of a zone. But he's following George Kittle, so he's going to be playing him man. What I want you to notice is this safety right here walks down to the box. And when I say the box, this area right here, from here to about here on the line, is called the box, right? And it's usually filled up with defensive linemen and linebackers. So now the box has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 guys in the box. The other 4 are in man, right? And with the single high safety up top. So what he does here when he walks down is he's showing blitz. So what happens is Jimmy Garoppolo sees it, whether you can't see his head here. He sees it, right? But what that means is he has to choose one side of the field or the other. It's clear that with all these bodies in here, the congestion wouldn't be to throw to this side, right? What's open is you've got a single man here and a single coverage here. It's going to be this side where he's looking to attack. So there's a lot of these plays that are designed, and they're also designed to take away actual reads. Like, not a bad thing, not that Jimmy Garoppolo can't read. What it does is it allows for a quick throw, no decision, and you just really have to diagnose the play before the snap. Okay, so here's the snap of the ball. Matt Breida is going to run out, and this linebacker is going to follow him, which is going to open all this area up. If Matt Breida stays in protection, then this linebacker gets to sit here, and this throw will not be completed. So he goes after Matt Breida, if you guys could see that, right? Here comes the rush. Everybody's blitzing. Again, it's man coverage. Deebo Samuel's covered here. He's covering George Kittle. He's covering Emmanuel Sanders, and he's covering Richie James, with this defender covering Matt Breida right here. As soon as his hips clear this area, Jimmy Garoppolo knows that he can throw this ball behind him because his direction and his momentum is moving this way towards Matt Breida. So he's moving towards Breida. Now, look, the blitz is coming. The pocket's collapsing here. It definitely is collapsing. He lets this go as fast as he can. Look, the linebacker right here the defensive lineman right here did recognize that the ball was coming out. He tries to bat it down. Boom. That is exactly how you draw it up. Right behind the defender, boom, with nothing but space in front of him to create more yards. And this is a big play. And it ends up with a big, big gain. Such a simple concept and a simple throw can lead to these sort of yards if it's used the right way. So let's watch it in full speed then, right? Let's just watch it develop in full speed because I think you'll get a better appreciation for it. So here comes the blitz. Jimmy lets it go. And there it is. This dragon concept, this quick passing game is something that's all over the league. Like, even as the great Pat Mahomes with his arm, they employ it. They do. He just gets to freestyle more, and he's allowed to chuck the ball downfield more. But this quick passing game is the wave of the future. And to watch from this angle kind of shows you at least what Jimmy Garoppolo sees, right? So we'll slow it down and we'll go through it. So here we go again. George Kittle's in motion. The man moves with him, which means it's man. Here comes the blitz on this side. And look, this whole area is open right here. This is where Jimmy Garoppolo and the 49ers offense wants to live, is in the middle of the field. This is what it's all designed for. And that throw is right on where it needs to be. And it allows Emmanuel Sanders to get crazy yardage at the end of this play. Pete, you'll notice Emmanuel Sanders is a guy who used to play for the Steelers and has latched onto this league and been on for a long time because he's a savvy route runner and he's a savvy veteran. The 49ers traded for him last year, and he came in and instantly made an impact because of his experience, where he's come from. The Pittsburgh Steelers know how to evaluate wide receivers and draft wide receivers. And that continues to this day with Juju Smith-Schuster and Deontay Johnson and James Washington. So they understand how to evaluate wide receivers, and Emmanuel Sanders is one of the more underappreciated wide receivers. I'll show you. Am I going too fast, guys? Please tell me to slow down if I'm going too fast.
It's great to sort of watch it like this, because as we all appreciate, we know that everyone kind of plays their plays their sort of spot in the play. But it's only when you slow it down and break it down, you realise how vital every single player doing exactly what they need to do to make that play work. And we kind of take that for granted. And watching it live game, it's all fun. But when you break it down, you might not think people are doing anything on the field, but they're doing exactly what they need to do to make the play work. And that's what I find fascinating watching this. So this is awesome, buddy.
Right. Thank you. I think that's the beauty of football, is that this is the epitome of team sport. If one person is not doing their job, then you're not going to be successful. Having people buy in and doing their assignment or whatever is actually asked of them for the play is what's going to lead your team to the Super Bowl. Unfortunately, the 49ers didn't finish, but they got there with a team mindset. And most teams that win the Super Bowl, if not all of them, have that same similar mindset of doing their job. So, so here's another play, right? So this one is going to be, it's a 3-man stick, okay? And what I mean by that is if you got 3 receivers bunched up over here, okay? And George Kittle's down here effectively acting as another lineman, okay? George Kittle's blocking affords this team flexibility in what it is that they can do. When George Kittle's on the field, there is no tip as to what the 49ers are doing. He's not a blocking tight end. He's not a receiving tight end. He does it all. And that allows the 49ers to remain flexible in their play calling and, and try some things which other tight ends wouldn't afford you. If you're strictly receiving, then it tips the defense off that this is a pass. If you're a strictly blocking tight end, then it tips it off that it's a run. Fortunately, the best tight end in football plays for the San Francisco 49ers, and they use him. So what I want you to pay attention to here is Tim Coleman moves over to the other side because he sees, again, blitz, right? You see Chandler Jones up here. You see another linebacker here who, when they're in this stance, quite frankly, are coming for the quarterback. There's only 2 linemen right here with their hands in the ground. So these are linemen technically, but they're going to be trying to swing across the edge and try to bend and try to get towards Jimmy Garoppolo. You see Dante Pettis here move. And again, the movement shows you exactly what's in front of you as far as defense. Okay. So again, this is a man.
Jason, can I just throw in there? So obviously you've got your defensive tackles, you've got your defensive ends, but basically when they bring the linebackers up to scrimmage, that's pretty much sort of showing that they're probably going to be applying pressure. Yes, they might. No, they won't, but they're giving you the idea that they're going to do it. Is that basically when you say blitz, it's when the linebackers come up to the line of scrimmage? Am I right or am I wrong there?
For sure. No. So that's you completely nailed it, Pete. Like whether they are blitzing or they're not, they want to give you that impression. It is up to the quarterback to decipher whether they're going to drop right back into coverage or they're coming. Either way, the quarterback has to check at the line and make sure that they understand where their blocking assignment is if they are blitzing. And he has to understand that when they drop back, he has to know that he can't just chuck that ball anywhere near them because they're trying to bait him into a throw. Great point, Pete, for sure. If you see a linebacker on the line right there, standing, looking like in that position, without his foot and without his hand in the ground, most likely he's trying to give the impression that they're going to blitz, for sure. So Dante Pettis moves. This signifies, again, man coverage, right? So, again, look, this is right here. This is, if I'm not mistaken, that's Daniel Brunskill or Justin School. And what he does here, if you guys notice, when you see the guard actually turn his head and look at the quarterback, it's because the center right here, who's not looking forward, and he's just waiting for the guard to tap his leg. And when he does, that's when he shotgun snaps it. Have you guys seen that when you guys watch the games?
No.
Yeah, noticed that before.
No.
So right here, what you're going to see when in the louder stadiums like Seattle, New Orleans, Kansas City, you cannot have a count because you can't hear it. Now, there's not going to be fans now in the stadium, so they're going to have to figure out ways to do this now because they'll be in tune with the count now that they'll be able to hear everything with no fans. But the guard, usually in these moments, he looks, he has the count. It's almost a silent count, and when he puts his hand on the center, that's when the ball gets snapped. Okay? So you'll see right here, look, I see him tap him right there, right here. I just it's very subtle, but you'll see him tap his shoulder right there and boom, there's your snap. Okay. So these guys are giving the impression of a blitz, but they're blitzing. Okay, like they're just coming. Everybody's coming. So what right here, what this gentleman does here, this linebacker, he sees that there's two linemen here. You're not beating both of them. What he tries to do is he tries to give the impression that he's coming here and try to work a stunt back in this area because he's going to see that this is all available for him, right? So what Tevin Coleman does right here, you see this? Tevin Coleman comes to the area. This is all about knowing assignments here, guys. The two linemen are here. They've got their man. He's not going anywhere. Tevin Coleman knows that this is all blocked up here. He realizes the hole is here. So he moves over and he gets there. He's here. Now, if any of these gentlemen right here want to try to get in here, you're at least going to see some sort of resistance, right? So I'm highlighting this before we get to the throw. So what happens here is they're already realizing that Garoppolo is looking because all three receivers are over here. George Kittle's down here blocking. He's not out running. All three receivers are running routes. Dante Pettis is up here running a clear route up here. Kendrick Bourne is going to run an out and in. So what I mean by that is he's running it out right there. Boom, puts his foot in the ground, and he's going to come back here, right? So this throw is here for Jimmy Garoppolo. It's here, right? Essentially, if he puts this ball right here, here's where the first down is. That's an easy first down, right? Like that seems like an easy enough throw. This throw that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to throw here is incredible. And I'm going to start it over again because I want you to keep your eye on Emmanuel Sanders here. Okay. Emmanuel Sanders is going to run an out route. This right here, this gentleman guarding him is Patrick Peterson. For the better part of this decade has been one of the top 1, 2, 3 cornerbacks in this league, cover corners, one-on-one. What I want you to watch is that Emmanuel Sanders was joined this team the week before. So it's not like he's had a lot of time to get reps with Jimmy Garoppolo, build up that sort of rapport when it comes to knowing where he needs to be, right? So Emmanuel Sanders is going to run this route. What I want you to notice is this. Patrick Peterson is carrying him, right, with blocking off his inside. So even if Emmanuel Sanders wanted to run this way inside, he's leveraged. Patrick Peterson has that all blocked off. Little does Patrick Peterson know that Emmanuel Sanders is about to break this route off out here. But what I want you to pay attention to is Jimmy Garoppolo on this throw. Look at how fast the ball comes out before Emmanuel Sanders' head even turns around. The ball's out. Look, he's not even out of his break yet. The ball's out. The ball is out, and it's headed to this area here. What's happening here is he has to put his foot in the ground and then make the turn. By the time he makes the turn, look at where this ball is. Look, so the ball's here. You guys see that? It's traveled that far. Right here, Emmanuel Sanders is going to put his foot in the ground and move this way. And look at that. Boom. The throw is right where it needs to be. Like that sort of rapport makes it seem like Emmanuel Sanders has been there for years, right, guys? Like him and Jimmy Garoppolo are like best friends. Let's watch it in normal motion. And here's the out route. Boom, the ball's out. Boom. That is beautiful. Patrick Peterson had no idea where the ball was. None. That's how fast.
By the way, he just on the floor sat down as if to sort of say, "What just happened?"
What just happened? Correct. He couldn't have played this better towards the inside to have it just break the other way and have this throw. Like I'm gonna let you guys watch it. All those things apply. Watch the line, watch the blitz up here. But I just want you to watch how fast this ball comes out. And I want you to watch Emmanuel Sanders' head. This is a better way to look at it. Emmanuel Sanders' head gets turned around right here. So we'll watch this play out. There it is. See, there it is right there. Did you guys see that again? I wanted to show you the tap. See him tapping?
Yeah, see the tap.
That's it. That's the silent count. 1, 2, boom. The ball's out. Now see George Kittle's blocking. The ball's out. Boom. Like Emmanuel Sanders didn't even have to turn in any way. Like he just had to put his hands out. That concept, again, the quick pass concept is something that's employed across the league, but it's a staple of the Kyle Shanahan playbook, honestly. And the more that I dig into this playbook, the more that I look at the film from 2019, I unlock and I unearth small things like these small details that I see here. Like we said, when you're watching these film breakdowns, when you're watching it live, it's hard to see everything. It is because there's not enough angles. This gives you exactly what you need to see for all the small things to happen for every play to be successful. Are you guys still with me? I'm not like going crazy or anything like that.
It's really blinding to watch. Before we sort of kick on with sort of going any further, you are getting a lot of love on the comments at the moment, Jay. So
Awesome.
before we sort of carry on, let's bring on a few of the comments that's been coming in. We didn't want to interrupt what you were doing.
No, that's good. Please tell me to stop talking.
So what we'll do, we'll sort of throw it in now. Unfortunately, the first comment that come in, clearly Scott over in Kansas is on the Kool-Aid nice and early, because he sort of sent a message in. Let's find it. Here we go. So he seems to
break down the Chiefs and
have
Kelce.
a lot of fun with Granddad.
Oof. The Chiefs. I mean, I can do it. It's a joy. It just hurts. Why are you going to ask a 49er fan to watch Chiefs film as if I didn't have my heart ripped out in Miami?
Jason, me and Scott go back and forth all the time of who is the best tight end at the moment. And nearly every time Scott's been on the show a few times, and we're always jawing at each other. I say it's the best paid tight end in football. He says Kelce, even though, you know, what you're going to do, it's always going to be fans are going to have their own favourites. We think it's even Pete would probably throw in Vance Brick Hands McDonald, but that's another story.
Oh, Vance, man,
got rid of him.
Pete, we know us 49ers fans, we know Vance McDonald very well, very, very well. And
Nick was very happy to see him go.
Right. So it's funny because yesterday, Grant Cohn, if you guys don't know, he's a beat writer for Sports Illustrated for the 49ers. You know, he's been on Niners all day, and we talk here and there. He said that the first day that Kyle Shanahan showed up, Vance McDonald was there at camp, right? And they're just stretching. And he said for some reason, because remember, Vance McDonald was signed to a deal before Kyle Shanahan got there. Trent Baalke was the GM at that point, and he re-upped Vance McDonald for, I want to say, 5 years. And he had never done anything with us to warrant that. Kyle Shanahan gets there, and he just rips him in front of the media, in front of the team, and tells him, you know, you're not running routes the right way. And then, boom, a month later, we traded him to you guys. Like, Kyle Shanahan did not want Vance McDonald on that team at all. Yeah. The guy has all the skills to put it together. I don't understand what the deal is with catching passes. Like, the guy's big, he's fast, he's strong. He just has to learn how to catch the ball. If he was the player that he wanted to be, the Steelers wouldn't have brought in Eric Ebron.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. We knew we needed someone else there, and McDonald wasn't the answer. But let's hope we get the 2018 Pro Bowler Ebron rather than last season's Ebron. But so far, training camp's looking good for the guy.
And then the other thing I wanted to talk about, Nick, you know, with the whole Kelce and Kittle thing, right? So as a 49er fan, let me take my bias out of it. As far as Kylie Young, what's going on? Yeah, oh, you follow me on Twitter. That's great. That's awesome that they jumped on. Thanks for jumping on early with us, guys. But about Kelce, what I'll say is this, and this is completely unbiased with the 49er in me. His route running is incredible. And for such a big man, he's just a joy to watch run routes, right? And thank you, Hellhound. And the thing is that Travis Kelce is utilized in a different way than George Kittle is. Travis Kelce's used in the red zone. Like, he's a target, and he should be. George Kittle's not used that way. Kyle Shanahan doesn't have those plays that, you know, the Chiefs have of just throwing it up and letting Kelce get it. And I agree, City Boy 100. Jimmy Garoppolo did not get the credit that he deserved last season. I think it's because he's like super handsome that everybody wants him to fail. Honestly. Like, I really think it's that. The strong chin line.
Nick, to be fair, Nick has the same problem. You know, his looks, just everybody wants him to fail. There's our friend Susanna Taylor, our favorite American football official. She's watching the show. Thanks, Susanna.
Hey, Susanna. Nice to meet you, and thank you. I'm glad that you're enjoying this. But yeah, so, you know, it's obvious that Kittle is asked to do more things in the blocking game than Kelce. If you want to say that Kelce's better than Kittle, that's fine. I don't agree with that, but I understand the sentiment. If you ask me who's the best all-around tight end, it's Kittle, and the numbers in the contract do reflect that, because right after Kittle signed, Kelce took a deal. And he took a deal that was right under Kittle, because I think he understands that he's more valuable to his team than Kelce is.
Thing is, they also talking about that literally within an hour of Kittle getting paid as the best tight end in football. The Chiefs had to piss on their chips by announcing that they'd obviously extended Kelsey. And I agree with you what you say. And I don't know why. Maybe you can explain it a bit more. And I'd obviously be interested in your opinion, is why don't the 49ers use Kittle more in the red zone? Is that because they got Kendrick Bourne and Deebo Samuel maybe? And obviously they've signed Jordan Reed, who, if healthy,
I love it.
2 tight end sets, red zone, forget about it.
He's and so far on the well, the Chiefs didn't all take discounts, internet certified. Pat Mahomes signed a $500 million deal. Chris Jones got paid. Travis Kelce just got paid. What they're doing is they're continuing to sign these contracts and send them off a few years, hoping that the salary cap gets back up to where it's supposed to be, because COVID is going to drop all these salary caps down, because everything's based on revenue, right? If stadiums aren't open, if fans aren't at the game, if people aren't buying tickets, then you're losing a bunch of money. So what the new CBA was supposed to do is increase the salary cap every year. Unfortunately, COVID had other plans, and now they have to double back. So the Chiefs are going to be in a bit of a bind going forward the next few years, and they're going to have to get creative in how they move around guaranteed money, move around incentives to make sure that they keep their team in. Right now what the Chiefs are going for is they're going for another Super Bowl this year and the next year. Like, this is a 2-year run where they're going to try and do that. So, but I don't know, Nick. I really don't know, Nick, why the 49ers do not use Kittle in that way. I don't. It really, like, we ask these same questions when we hear the press conferences from Kyle. Like, why don't you use him in that area? Why aren't you allowing him to go one-on-one with linebackers? Why aren't you just throwing balls up to him? I don't have a good answer for that, Nick. I really don't. It's a little bit baffling. Kendrick Bourne is utilized in the red zone. I'm glad you brought him up. He had 30 catches. 23 of them were either third down catches for first downs or touchdowns. 17 on third down, 6 touchdowns. He led the team in touchdowns. I don't know why they don't do that. They like to run the ball when they get down there. I just don't know. I don't know, and they should use him that way.
At the end of the day, it seems to be working for you guys, so yeah. Why change? At the end of the day, if it's not working, change it up. If it's working, don't change it.
For sure. It's fantasy football more than we care about that. Like, why isn't he getting that touchdown for my team more than anything? But hey, if the team is successful, then I'm not going to tell the coach that I know better than him.
Absolutely. It worked. Thank you. I was going to say thanks, Nick, for everybody for throwing comments into the show. Just wanted to say thanks everybody for joining in. It's really cool seeing everybody tuning in, and Jace, you're getting a lot of love, and it seems as though people are enjoying this just as much as I am, and hopefully learning as much as I am. So it's going good so far.
I'm having a blast. I've always wanted to speak, with you guys about football. And when I mean you guys, I mean, because we brought football over there, but I feel like the reason that football isn't taking off as much is because we keep sending you the Jaguars. Like, I believe that you guys would really be into football if they can send you the Jacksonville Jaguars every year. Like, send the Patriots, send the Steelers, send good teams over, and you'll see a bigger reaction. When you send Blake Bortles over, it's like, how much money do you think the NFL are going to lose not having spectators? That's a lot. The way that they're going to try to actually combat that is when there's no fans, they'll have advertisements and things like that to try and recoup some of that money. But the salary cap was supposed to increase next year to almost like $225 million or something like that. It's supposed to decrease with all the revenue lost to 175. Now teams are really going to have to really get creative, and a lot of people are going to have to walk because people aren't going to have money to pay people at this point.
Yeah, well, they're saying 175 is the minimum now, aren't they? So it's not definitely 175, but that they had to draw a line. They had to give the teams and the franchises the figure. So it may not necessarily be 175 from a Steelers point of view. I'm hoping it's not, because that's going to be pretty bad for us and a few other teams. But fingers crossed they are able to get some revenue in. It's a good question there from Susanna. It's going to be interesting to sort of find out how they sort of get this money in. But these guys that own these teams and Roger Goodell, they're smart guys. I'm sure they'll sort of think of something to be able to get the money in. That's for sure.
For sure. And Pete, you said that you guys said that you're casuals. Like, you guys know a lot. Like, that's not casual. Like to know stuff like that. Like, I know guys who say that they're hardcore that don't understand that whole salary cap thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I've said to Nick this year, I've been casual. This is my first year into it, and I'm going to be the rookie of the year this year, man. I'm doing a lot of research and doing shows with people like you and Susanna and that, just teaching me. You know, it's just all this knowledge going in my head. All of a sudden, head's going to go. And,
I love the
it.
way you and Nick banter.
Keep
I love
feeding
it.
me.
I love the way that you and Nick banter. I love it. I think that you guys have great chemistry. This is great.
Well, all the knowledge goes in my head, but all the knowledge goes in his belly. That's what you can see.
Oh,
man. All of that under his, it's all there.
All bought and paid for, Pete. All bought and paid. That's all.
All right, so I have another play to show you guys, and since we're talking Kittle Kelsey, let's give Kittle some love. What do you think, Nick?
I think it's about time the best tight end in football got some love, Jason.
My man, let's go. So this is so if you guys notice the reason that I'm picking plays from necessarily just Arizona, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an idea of how the 49ers will attack again the Arizona Cardinals, because they do play them week 1. The Arizona Cardinals have given the 49ers fits in both of these games. Why? Because they have an athletic quarterback that the 49ers have trouble wrangling in, Kyler Murray. What happens with their offense, and I won't go too deep into the Cardinals because it would be easier for me to show you, but what happens with their offense is they run a variation of something that's called the air raid offense, which Cliff Kingsbury ran at Texas Tech. And what happened is I don't think it was Texas Tech, I'm sorry, but he ran it in college. And what that is that's 4 receivers on the field at every time. So there's 4 receivers here. What I want you guys to notice is when it's man coverage and there's 4 receivers, 1, 2, 3, 4. What does that mean? The middle of the field is wide open. Why is that? Because the air raid and these 4 receiver sets won't allow people to be in the box. You have to cover these men, right? So this is all open in the middle of the field. Again, the Cardinals are in single high safety. This is how they run their defense. Everything is single high. Everything seems to be man to man. They run very little zone. Again, you see 1, 2, 3 guys standing, right, Pete? Standing up at the line with 2 down linemen. What does this mean? Here comes the blitz. And there's actually a 5th receiver hidden right here. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Okay. This is who he's covering. And George Kittle's down here with Budda Baker. Okay. Now, if you guys remember this first game, it was Halloween night. George Kittle in the first quarter comes down awkwardly on his leg, and 49ers Nation, we gasp. We can't have this man off the field. He comes back in, and this is at the end of the first quarter. We later found out that he chipped a bone in his ankle, and he continued to play. Now, I want you guys to watch George Kittle with a broken bone in his foot and how good he still is. So, again, 5 receivers. We've got a blitz coming. It's all man, single high safety up here. Jimmy Garoppolo sees it. Again, you see your guard here, and what is he about to do? Tap the center so the ball can come out on time. So let's go with it. Tap them. Boom, it's out. Now, I'm gonna put the highlight right here on George Kittle. I want you to watch how he runs this route. This is how you run routes as a tight end. Ready? The stutter step off the release. See, 1, 2, and now he's giving the impression when he gives that head fake right there that he's coming out here. What he is doing is he's stacking this defender to send him this way for what? To push him off right there. Excuse me, sir. Now look, his head's down here. He's not in the play anymore, okay? Now, look, this throwing lane opens up because right here, he's running a route that's out. This is going to be all open here. Again, Jimmy Garoppolo is manipulating the defense with his eyes. Looking left. Look at the defender here. He's looking left. The safety's backing up. But the whole while he knows he's going to look this way at these 2 and come right back here with the ball because Budda Baker, the highest paid safety in NFL history, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, right here. I just want to highlight that. Excuse me, sir. I'm out of here. Here's the ball. It's caught. Excuse me, sir. And Budda Baker has a chance to make a tackle here. Excuse me, sir. Touchdown. Touchdown on a broken bone in his ankle. I just want you guys to remember that.
Jason, Susanna's asked, what was the down and distance on that last play that you just
That one, if I'm not mistaken, off the top of my head, is a third down play. And it's at the end of the first quarter. If I want to say 3rd and 6, if I'm not mistaken. But it was right at the end of the quarter. Like, if they didn't hit this play, they would have just taken their field goal. And they scored from out there. So, it's again, Kelsey's an amazing route runner, but watching George Kittle do the small things like stack his defender into a direction that he wants him to go, move him off of him, and be able to move with cat-like quickness back to the inside is like, tight ends shouldn't run routes like that. You shouldn't be able to be that fast. You shouldn't be able to be that strong. And yeah, I wanted to give some love to the best tight end in the league. I'm sorry, I just did, and Nick feels me, and again, on a broken bone, he winds up losing 2-3 games after that. But like, the guy is a warrior, and you understand why we love him so much and why he's so important to our success. I want to do a running play though, because I know Nick is like really like chomping at the bit to see like some of these really good.
Nick loves to run, so yeah, definitely.
Nick strikes me as the like, I think we talked when we were texting, the Dick Butkus type, like the
he's got the jersey and everything. He loves
right,
he loves the bucket.
Man football, right? Like those old NFL films of guys rolling around in the mud with like no pads on, like that sort of football. So I want to show you some of that stuff. Okay. So here's one that's a little bit this one has a little bit more finesse in it. Okay. And I'm going to get a little bit more technical. Again, if I get to a point where the terminology gets to be a little bit too much, please tell me to stop and slow down, and I'll explain a little bit better. Okay. So 2nd and 11, this is a game where the 49ers put a 50 burger up on Carolina. Remember, Carolina hadn't lost a game with Kyle Allen, and they came into saying, oh, well, they haven't played us, and everybody was saying, oh, well, this is one of the 49ers' first tests. The 49ers dropped 50 on them. This game was never close. But I want to show you something that's actually really cool. Okay, so right here, what you're going to see is Kendrick Bourne, Dante Pettis, George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Tevin Coleman. Okay, this play is called the outside zone. It's called I'm sorry. Let me make sure I got this right. So this is the outside zone with a backside lock and an RPO. So an RPO, guys, is called a run pass option. Essentially what it is it's up to the quarterback. He gets a chance to, when the ball snapped, put the ball in the belly of the running back and either hand it off to him, and if he likes what he sees, or pull it back in and toss it to somebody else. So essentially this play is up to Jimmy Garoppolo, right? So the RPO is what's gonna make this play really, really hard to defend. Okay. Now, what the variation of this play has is it doesn't block up the 3 technique lineman. Now, what is the 3 technique? It's Gerald McCoy up here. 3 techniques are usually interior defenders. Okay. I'm not going off, right? Like I'm good. You guys got me?
Yeah, we're rolling with it. We're good.
Cool. So Gerald McCoy is what's known as the 3 technique on this play. 3 technique is usually interior defenders. Okay. So what happens is this variation of this play is to not block the 3 tech. Like, don't even put a body on him. Okay. The reason that you're going to do that is because when the RPO happens, which I'll show you, let's move it. So what you're going to watch here is you're going to watch Dante Pettis go into motion. What I want you to see is this. Watch what the motion does to the linebackers and where it moves them. Okay. So there they go. Now look at Luke Kuechly, right? Luke Kuechly moves in and they stay because they're running a man, but they're not, for some reason, they're not going to run with Dante Pettis here. Okay. So you're going to see them move over because they're following where he's going. Now the motion has him going out here to the flat. What I want you to keep your eye on is this. George Kittle's out here. He's being defended by him and him. Deebo Samuel's here. He's going to run a clear out. This is going to leave an entire area here for Dante Pettis to come around and be down here. This is where the throw would go if he decides to throw it here. Okay. Here's the hike. Here's the snap of the ball. So look, Gerald McCoy is right here, unblocked, right? No one's paying attention to him. Why? He has a decision to make right here, guys. He has to look and figure out whether this is a run or a pass. By the time he figures out what is what, the play's already by him. Let me explain. Here it is right here. Here's the mesh point. Gerald McCoy is staring at the quarterback, staring at the running back. He has to decide whether this is a run or a pass, and he has to decide fast. What happens is, you see George Kittle's down here, Debo's out here. Now, Dante Pettis is here, and if this ball's thrown out here, he has considerable room and the numbers to be blocked up for him to have a nice little gain. Unfortunately, for Gerald McCoy, this is a handoff. He's still looking. Look, the ball is already in Tevin Coleman's hands. And if you can see Jimmy Garoppolo right here, he's pretending like he still has the ball and he's going to throw it down here to Dante Pettis. Gerald McCoy's still in no man's land, unblocked, doesn't know where to go.
Jace, before you move forward there, that to me, obviously from an unknowledgeable eye, that to me looks like he's chosen the wrong option, because to me, exactly what you said, he's going to be wide open on the top of the field there. You've got the two guys man to man. They're going to be able to block him, and he's in for a simple score from what I can see there. So what has made him see there that should be handed off? Because, I mean, obviously, what are they seeing that we as an untrained eye isn't?
So Gerald McCoy, like the problem is with this, is like you have one shot to get this, right? So if you pick the wrong side, the play's over. And spoiler alert, he picks the wrong play. He picks the wrong option here. The thing is that defenders are taught when the RPO became prevalent in the game, meaning the zone read, when Colin Kaepernick was really like using it to trick defenders, they were telling defenders, hit the quarterback. Doesn't matter if he has the ball or if he handed it off. Hit the quarterback. So he knows that because when the ball's in the match point, there's a rule that says you can hit the quarterback, because how are you supposed to know who has the ball, right? So at this point, what is Gerald McCoy supposed to do? If Gerald McCoy makes a beeline towards Jimmy Garoppolo, Tevin Coleman has his ball already and he's here. And even if he pulls this in, this throw is pitch and catch easy. There's no resistance here. So you're absolutely right, Pete. What he's seeing is he's trying to diagnose this play as fast as he can. But by the time he figures it out right here, look, he's standing still. He has the ball. He's standing still. He still doesn't know where the ball is. Now look at this hole right here. Everybody's blocked up. Luke Kuechly's blocked up. This lineman's blocked up. Look at all this green grass. Look at that run. Look at this grass over here. It's gone for a touchdown. And that's what the RPO does. It forces defenders to make decisions that they're not comfortable with. Let's watch it as fast as in normal speed. This is a thing of beauty. Again, Gerald McCoy gets left unblocked. I don't know. Look, by the time he figures out who's got it, it's a touchdown. And I think, does this have a second angle? This is the angle that I really wanted to show you guys. So I want you to notice Dante Pettis here running, and I want you to notice where it moves Luke Kuechly out of. Right there, okay? So that area where he moved out of is exactly where the 49ers want to run the ball, right here. Here's Gerald McCoy one more time. And look, this is a better angle. Right there's the mesh point. Right there, he has to make a decision. By the time he figures out who has the ball, look, see, Jimmy Garoppolo is acting like he threw it. Look, he knows who has it, but look at this space. He's not going to make that up on a running back. And
he's also wrong-footed as well, if you notice that. When the ball's handed off and Jimmy's doing his fake throw over to Pettis, I think it was.
Yeah,
he's already wrong-footed. And the good thing and that's probably one of the best offensive games I've seen in a hell of a long time.
Mm-hmm.
What did Luke Kuechly say after the game?
Luke Kuechly was flummoxed this game. And if we know anything about Luke Kuechly is that he is maniacal when it comes to preparation and his film. Like, the reason that Luke Kuechly is one of the best thank you, Shoot the Breeze. The reason that Luke Kuechly is one of the best linebackers who've ever played the game is, one, physical, but two, the mental. He can literally go back and forth with your quarterback, check, because he understands what's going on. This problem that he had in this game, like, I can show you film of him just throwing his hands up. Like, he completely was caught off guard. And Shanahan, it's not like Shanahan's a new coach. It's not like he just joined this year and there's no film. Shanahan's been an offensive coordinator for the Browns, the Texans, Atlanta, and now he's the head coach of the 49ers. He has his marks all over this league. And Luke Kuechly tried to prepare. And Luke Kuechly was frustrated, man. Like, I've never seen him. I've never seen him. Yep, shows the left guard blocking up. Exactly. That's the other thing, the slice blocking that the linemen do on these plays. They understand their assignments. Again, leaving Gerald McCoy sounds like a bad idea. Sounds like a bad idea to completely leave a lineman unblocked. Not when it's in that variation in that run, because you're forcing him to make a decision right there. So, yeah, I mean, that's just something small. That little motion moved Luke Kuechly out of the area that they wanted to get into, and not blocking Gerald McCoy forces him to make a decision. And that's not easy in real time. It's just not. And he's not a fast guy, so it's not like he can make up that error with his speed. It's just not going to happen. And the 49ers just preyed on that all day. It was a thrashing, honestly.
The other thing as well, talking about obviously the RPO and what you showed there, Pete and I had this debate about the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, and he doesn't think that he's going to be as good. But when you watch Lamar Jackson and even Mahomes sometimes, you don't know where the ball is. We're watching it from on high, and you're not obviously at game level. I mean, it's incredible the way these things are planned, executed. You know, I mean, Lamar Jackson will hold that ball until the last second before he either hands it off, goes himself, or passes it, and that is an incredible skill.
It is. Pete, tell me why you think Lamar Jackson isn't gonna be, you know, as, I mean, unanimous MVP. Like, what, I mean, is it the Steelers Ravens thing, or is it like, you know, like you have like real?
No, I mean, don't get me wrong. I didn't watch much of them on the Ravens last year for obvious reasons. I'm not interested in watching them, but the game I did see them against the Steelers, he was basically sort of stuffed out the game. So I'm not one that's seen him playing great games, but the idea I sort of get is another year worth of film that coaches are going to be able to break down. And at some point, as much as the coaches want these guys to be sort of let loose, he is great, but eventually they're going to sort of say you can't. You know, Cam Newton did it a little while ago, and eventually these guys get sort of hit. They get hit, and this is your franchise quarterback. They will have to rein it in slowly and slowly. And a year's worth of film. I mean, the guy makes, you know, computer game moves, but eventually with the film, I just feel they sort of might snuff it out a little bit. And it's great to see you guys doing stuff like that, because Garoppolo isn't Pat Mahomes. He isn't Lamar Jackson. But you guys are able to accomplish it, I guess, with a different sort of way of doing it. It's not the QB that is necessarily making the plays and doing it. It's the running back. It's the guys in front of them. Whereas for me, you know, the likes of Lamar, he is the one that sort of maybe correct. Yeah, I might be sort of looking at it differently.
No, I think
you know, at the end of the day, the guys had an MVP season. They're broke. You know, they're the best rushing team of all time, and they can't repeat that. If they do, fair enough. But odds say that they're probably not going to be repeating that. They will take a downturn on their rushing game. But yeah,
for sure. I think you're absolutely right with all that, right? But I also want to point out, like with Mahomes and Lamar, right? With Mahomes and Lamar, right? The thing is there's a perfect marriage with scheme and their quarterback, right? So the Ravens completely understand Lamar Jackson's limitations. Let me explain. When we watch Lamar Jackson play, Lamar Jackson lives in between the numbers throwing wise. He cannot throw outside of the numbers, outside, right? What you saw in the playoffs was the Tennessee Titans forced Lamar Jackson to do things he was not comfortable with. And to Hellhound's point, when the Ravens are behind, which wasn't very often last year, Lamar Jackson is not the guy that's going to be throwing you back into the game. That's just not how it works. For sure. But it's the perfect marriage with him and Greg Roman, because Greg Roman was the offensive coordinator for Colin Kaepernick when the zone read took the league by storm. But then what happened? They snuffed it out with film. And you're right about that. And you can bet that this year, defensive coordinators are going to plan to keep Lamar Jackson, try as best you can to keep him in the pocket, and force him to throw outside the numbers. And that's when you're going to start to see some cracks. Pat Mahomes doesn't have cracks. At times, his if I had to give Pat Mahomes one criticism, and this is nitpicking because I'm not certain that I can find much, is that sometimes he does a little bit too much to make something happen. That's it. I'm not certain that there's any other criticism that you can give Pat Mahomes. Kaepernick was a different quarterback, but a couple of seasons he found it harder for sure. Once the film came out, and once they had a year to digest it, and when you don't make strides, that's the issue. Every quarterback should be looking to improve. If you're not improving your deficiencies, then that's when the game will catch up to you. If you do not improve your touch passes, if you do not improve your throwing into the numbers, into things that you're not comfortable with, defensive coordinators will prey on that, and they will force you to learn. And if you don't learn, you will be out and not playing. You would have somebody else have your job. It's just as simple as that. If you do not improve, defensive coordinators will take care of that. And the Steelers, let's be 100%. The Steelers have a top 1-2 defense in this league right now. Hands down.
For sure.
Hands down.
Yeah, for sure.
Did we lose Nick?
He's probably just gone for a wee or something. But tell me, obviously, I hear big things about your coach. Obviously, he's got a new contract. They're paying big money for this guy. For someone like me that, again, doesn't sort of really understand possibly the importance and what the sort of coach brings and the change they sort of bring to the teams, why are people, so everyone's saying how amazing Shanahan is. Explain why. What is this guy bringing to football that maybe we haven't sort of seen over the last few years, which seems to be sort of something that people are saying that he's revolutionizing the game. He's a genius. What is he doing that other guys aren't?
So what I want to also point out is that while all those things are true, right? What everybody says about, there it is. Look at that hat. I love it, Nick. Let's go. So when people talk about Kyle Shanahan and they talk about him that way, I agree with all those things. But I also want you guys to remember something. His playbook is rooted from his father. Mike Shanahan was the offensive coordinator for the 49ers before becoming a head coach for the Denver Broncos, where they won 2 Super Bowls with John Elway. Very much Mike Shanahan's playbook lives through Kyle Shanahan as far as the running game goes. Outside zone, all that stuff, that's Mike Shanahan. That's Mike Shanahan. So while people say that he's revolutionizing the game, I don't always agree with, because he's using plays that his father has used and had much success with. Remember, Mike Shanahan turned Terrell Davis into a 2,000-yard rusher. 2,000 yards. Terrell Davis is a Hall of Famer because Mike Shanahan. Honestly. And that's the same thing that the 49ers do. The genius of Kyle Shanahan is being able to understand that running backs, I don't want to say they don't matter, but they're a dime a dozen almost. Raheem Mostert was on 5 different teams before he joined. All of a sudden, 15 touchdowns last year. It's not a matter of skill.
Special teams, wasn't he? I mean, it's crazy.
Right. It's not a matter of skill, because if Kyle identifies something that he can exploit with you through his running game, you're going to be successful. If Raheem Mostert went to another team, he would have nowhere near the success. I am not slighting Raheem Mostert. I think he's a great player. His story is amazing. He's one of the fastest running backs in the game. But you cannot discount how much Kyle Shanahan puts him in a position to succeed. As far as his passing game goes, it's very simple, honestly, when it comes to those quick slants and things like that. That's all in there. What he has the ability to do, and sometimes it's his downfall, is he scripts his plays during the week. Like, here's the first play we're going to run. Here's the second play we're going to run. Everything's scripted, and it bit him in the Super Bowl against Atlanta. What happened was, obviously they're up 28-3. Instead of taking his foot off the gas pedal and changing up the game plan and running the ball to kill time, he stuck with his offensive game plan and never changed it, which allowed the Patriots to come back in with the fumbles, with the sacks. When you drop back and you have that, you need those sort of things. So Kyle Shanahan sometimes is too smart for his own good and sometimes can't get out of his own way. And we saw it again with the Super Bowl. Just sometimes he called the right play. Chris Jones made a play. A guy runs the wrong route. You didn't run the ball as much with Mostert at the end when we were trying to kill the clock. Like, all those things is things that he's working through. But I also want to say, how long did it take Andy Reid to finally win a Super Bowl before he shook the stigma of being a guy who couldn't get it done or clock manage? So it's not as simple as everybody believes of just going out there because you're great at the game and you understand how to scheme things up to just automatically win. It took Andy Reid 20-something years, and he's by far one of the best play designers in the game, in the history of the game.
Wasn't he involved as well, Andy Reid? Wasn't he something to do with the 49ers coaching?
No, the Packers. So the Packers had under one coaching staff, Andy Reid, Mike Holmgren, John Gruden, and Steve Mariucci. All 4 of those guys wound up being head coaches in this league. The Mariucci coached the 49ers. Holmgren was, he took over the Green Bay job. We all know John Gruden. He's still coaching to this day. And who's the 4th one I said? It was Mooch. It was Holmgren. It was Gruden, and it was somebody else. But all those guys are Andy Reid, right? So he's all those guys learned under each other. And Andy Reid, like the offense that Holmgren and the 49ers ran at the time is similar. It's the same thing. West Coast offense, same thing. Sorry if that was long-winded.
No, it's good. And so are you pretty much sort of expecting the players that have made the Niners so successful this past season? Is he going to have to design new plays every time? Is he going to get sort of found out? Are the team's going to get sussed out? Or is this just such a clever offense that it's impossible to sort of really know what's going on? It's going to be really hard to sort of to defend this, and the Niners are just going to sort of keep rolling, or is there potential that they're going to get snuffed out?
No, I mean,
all of a sudden,
honestly,
this massive contract Shanahan's had, they all of a sudden, whoa, maybe we shouldn't have paid this guy this much money.
The other thing is this. No, and I don't think it's that. The other thing is I think you're absolutely right about is that everybody has to make adjustments. There's no way you can just continue to run the same offense, right? So what I think that what Cal does is he notices how people were playing them, right? What was successful. And I think the book is a little bit out on how to try to stop this 49ers offense. And we saw it at the end of the Super Bowl. You have to attack the interior linemen. And that's exactly what the Chiefs did. Chris Jones was the MVP of the Super Bowl, not Patrick Mahomes. Sorry, guys. Yeah. For 3 quarters, Patrick Mahomes played his worst game of his career. Hands down. Mm-hmm. Hands down. Like, not even close. Yeah. But Chris Jones swung the tide of that game. If there's 4 batted balls at the end of that game that just swung that game. And Jimmy Garoppolo had George Kittle wide open. If it's not batted down at the line, Kittle catches it, and he takes it all the way to the house probably, if not for a big gain, and that ends the game. Because now the 49ers get to sit and wait.
Game over. If Chris hadn't have done it, forget about it, and we would be sitting here, and I know this is biased, and I'm sorry, but we would be talking 6-time, quest for 6, done. But great play by the defense, and back to what you were saying about Shanahan. When you look at the game plans for the Niners and also Atlanta, they're very, very similar because me and Pete went to London to watch the Super Bowl, and I know he was too busy being you're gonna lose.
Really, Pete? You're that guy? Is this?
Come on. Hey, there's one half of me that really wants him to enjoy the evening, but there's also another part of me that just really can't stand seeing him being smug. So for me, the fact that they lost was brilliant, and it also means that you guys have kept 1 trophy behind us still as well. So
I realize that part.
Trust me, I was smug as everything, and it all then started going a bit wrong, and I think Pete left with about 5 minutes to go because he said, I can't sit here and watch.
I know what was coming. I knew what was coming.
So it's like a train wreck, right? Like, I kind of felt it too, like right after. So it's crazy. I went to Miami, right? Like, my wife allowed me to go down to Miami for the game because, 1, I'm covering for the team, and 2, this is an amazing time right now, right? Like, you're not, and this is all right before COVID, right? Like, we're not going to be able to fly for a long time, like, basically, right? So, like, this is all right before that. And right after the interception with Tavarius Moore, in the red zone, like, once that interception happened, my wife texted me and she said, oh my God, you're so close. And, she sends me a picture of my daughter wearing a Jimmy Garoppolo jersey. And I was like, I just wish I was with you to hug you right now. Like, I wish I was with you, like, so we could celebrate. Unfortunately, right after that, once it was 3 and out, once it went 3 and out right there, I was like, oh no. Like, I don't like, they needed to kill clock. They didn't need to get points. They just needed to kill clock. And they did not do that. And that's why I was like, run the ball, run the ball. But there's also another way to look at it. If you see an 8-9 man front, you're not going to run right into that. It makes no sense. So while I wanted him to run the ball, when I finally like drank myself into a place where I could watch this game again, and watch the film, there was nowhere to run the ball there. Like the basically what the Chiefs did, and this is going to be the MO on how to stop the 49ers. Stop the run, keep everybody in the middle of the field, make Jimmy Garoppolo beat you. That's what everybody's going to go into this season saying about the 49ers. That's it. And they went into last year saying that. Now for sure, they know that we have interior O-line problems right now because we have injuries and things like that. That's how you're going to attack the 49ers. If I was a defensive coordinator, I would say send people in the middle of the field, make him throw the ball outside the numbers, make him not use the middle of the field. And that's what I think defensive coordinators are going to do going forward.
But you say that, Jason.
It's not as easy as all that.
Second year under this system.
Sure.
What happened in Atlanta?
Matt Ryan won MVP. Matt Ryan won MVP. And they now, Nick, don't kill me for this, Nick. I'm just going to tell you, I think that Matt Ryan's a better quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh, hands. I mean, me personally, and Pete will tell you, I am a big Matt.
Love child. He loves
He is.
Ryan.
I love Matt Ryan.
I do too, and I feel like he's one of the most underappreciated quarterbacks of our time. Honestly, I really do.
It's just a shame he's been on a garbage team for so long. Sorry, Atlanta Falcons UK, if you're watching, but it's true because Matty I is awesome.
No, he is. He's great. Is there anything more frustrating than watching your team or any team make silly mistakes?
Susanna's sticking the knife in here, boys.
Yes. No, it is. It is. especially in a game that big when the 49ers, like I said, for 3 quarters were dominating. Like I said, Patrick Mahomes played his worst game of his career and won Super Bowl MVP. I'm still sometimes when I watch the game, I still don't get how it happened.
I wouldn't know because I've never watched it, and I don't think I can bring myself ever to watch it again.
One day I got really down on myself, and I was just like, you know what? I was like, I feel like torturing myself a little bit. I want to see what really happened because I'm tired of everybody just throwing it on Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm tired of everybody just throwing it on Kyle Shanahan, right? I want to be able to look at this film and be able to objectively say, he deserves blame, he deserves blame, he deserves blame. Jimmy deserves blame, Kyle deserves blame, and the interior line deserves blame. It's not all one person. So when I watched it to debunk that theory, and I walked away knowing that Chris Jones was the MVP of that game and that his effect on that game was too much. And, we had a blown coverage on 3rd and 15. Emmanuel Mosley didn't stick with Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill was allowed. Once that 3rd and 15 hit, I was like, oh, my God, there it is. Like, that's the play they needed to just get them going. And after that, it was downhill after that for the team. And that's the risk you run when you don't put the Chiefs away. Always. That's the risk you run.
Yeah. And in that response to anything more frustrating, yes, there absolutely is. And it's watching your star QB go down week 2 and then have to watch Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph for the rest of the season. So think yourself lucky, boys.
God bless you, Pete. Watching that film is
not easy.
Watching that film is tough.
And as I keep mentioning to Nick as well, week 3, I'm pretty sure we ended up playing you boys. Made you boys turn over 5 times. And
week 1,
we should have beaten you in that. We could have beaten you in that game. You should have. And Minkah Fitzpatrick. You're an embarrassment. Niners, you're an embarrassment.
Well, we turned the ball over 4 times, I want to say, in the first half. It was every throw that Jimmy threw was bouncing off somebody's hands right into a Steelers defender. I was so frustrated. I was like, see, that part makes me upset. Matt Ryan had Julio Jones his whole career. Come on, guys. And he came in as a starter. That still shouldn't devalue how good Matt Ryan is. I think that, that point right there proves to me how underappreciated he is. Like, for real. Like, it's not Julio Jones isn't a target hog like everybody thinks he is. They don't even really throw the ball in the end zone like that. Like, Julio Jones is one of those few receivers that doesn't beg for the ball. Matt Ryan has his leisure to throw to whoever's open. Julio Jones is fine with that. That's the difference. Julio Jones isn't an Odell Beckham that wants you to throw him the ball every play. Julio Jones is fine getting the ball whenever he can. And that's what helps Matt Ryan. Is that reason why Kyle stocked this team with more weapons because of that? Yes, this team needs speed. This team needs speed to threaten people over the top so the inside throws and in the middle of the field can work. If everybody's bunched in the middle because nobody's taking the top off the defense, yes, That's what the 49ers need. They need more speed. Jimmy will be different this year, meaning he sees that 8-man front, expecting an audible and a quick pass. For sure. He has to make those checks. I'm just telling you what defensive coordinators are going to do. I believe that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to take a step this year. For sure. He has to. It's his first year. So, yes, that definitely is going to happen. But it's going to be interesting to see how they react to the league reacting to them.
Can I also just mention this comment from Susanna? Excuse me, Pete, I'm a Titans fan. Do you remember them going for 2 at Wembley? No, he doesn't.
I do.
Because we were very drunk, and talking to each other, getting each other in headlocks, making each other drink drinks.
There isn't much we remember at most of our Wembley games, to be fair.
Yeah, so to be honest, most of the Wembley stuff, if it's after the first quarter, we don't have a clue because we're too busy. We have a little game we call money movements. So whoever's in our little crew, we all put £10 in the hat, and every time a flag is thrown, the money moves round. So depending on how bad the zebras are in the game, you could either have the money for quite a while or it might change hands quite a lot. So a lot of the times we're just taking the piss out of each other, shoving drinks in each other's faces, eat this donut, eat this hot dog, eat this. So to be honest, we probably don't remember about them going for 2.
I 100% agree with that. I 100%
I remember Busby losing the pot when we were playing money movements, but we are probably we are probably the only people in the crew, in the crowd that actually enjoys seeing a flag being thrown. So we know that the money's coming our way.
I feel like.
Sorry, Jason. Go ahead.
No, you're good. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I feel like when I go to games too, I don't remember as much. Like I went to week 1 in Tampa. I went to the Washington game where it rained like monsoon the entire time. Like that was the worst game I've ever been to in my life. But I feel like yes. And when I watch games, on TV or the film is when I really get everything. It's the replays are good and everything, but in the stadium, it's much harder to actually, remember things that are going on because let's face it, right? I'm not certain how it is in the UK. I would love to go to a game over there. I really would. I just, like I said, I'm just waiting for them to send you guys good teams for once, so you guys could actually really get excited about football. But here, the game's at 1, you're in the parking lot at 7:30, 8 o'clock, and you're drinking. By the time 1 o'clock hits,
Pete, go on. Yeah. Tell Jason the famous story of us.
Go for it.
One misty morning going up to London.
This was my debut of going to the NFL. I mean, I don't know what year it was, but we went up to Wembley in my debut, going up to see the Niners and the Cowboys. I think the game was. So I don't know how many years ago that was.
It wasn't the Cowboys. It was. Is that the game ball one, or are you talking?
Yes, it was against Denver, wasn't it? Sorry, was it against Denver?
We saw the 49ers Denver, and we also got the game ball. Frank Gore's touchdown against the Jaguars.
Wow.
That was against Denver. But yeah, basically, so we're getting the train 8 o'clock in the morning. We've done a 6-pack of beer on the train going up to London. It's 10:30 on the Underground, and we've decided it would be a good idea to start drinking a bottle of rum. So by about 11:30, we're much a bottle of rum, a pack of beer, and we're pretty much the only people there at that time in the morning. And let's just say it was a long day after that. But trying to keep up with this guy, we don't call him the Shank Club president, Jace, for no reason. The guy is a fish. The guy is a fish.
And you know the funny thing, Jason?
Yep.
The Irish, God bless them, have got a really good reputation for being drinkers. And we're sitting on this tube train. Bearing in mind the game isn't till 6 p.m. UK time,
that was a late one, wasn't it?
9 o'clock Eastern. No, a bit later.
Yeah, it's like 10 a.m. over here. I love those UK games because I'm up early watching football.
We're on the tube, and these Irish guys, and we're like, this is good. We love all this, and we're passing around this bottle of rum, and this Irish guy goes, "Fucking hell, you're really hardcore, you drinkers over here." And we're like, You know, it was like 10 o'clock in the morning, and we're completely like, how the hell are we going to last?
Yeah, we do need to figure out how to maybe sort of tone it down a little bit and possibly enjoy the game.
No.
The funny thing is, Jason, and we always have this conversation whenever Pete and I and the Shank Club crew go out and we meet up in London or whatever, Pete always says, not drinking on the train, not buying any beer, I'm not drinking on the train. And he'll turn up. If it's his time to buy and he turns up with no beer for the train, he gets sent 100 yards from the station to buy alcohol. And he still says, no, I'm not going to bother. I'm not going to bother. And within 2 minutes of us being on the train, the bottles are open, the cans are open, and all of a sudden Pete forgets his little, I can't drink. It's just too early.
It's the whole day out. I mean, I would be a nightmare at a proper tailgating party in America. I'm too easily lured into all the shenanigans that come before the game. I'm not going to jump onto Hellhound here. He's saying, will Big Ben be as good? Of course, Big Ben is going to be as good. You've not seen his interview? The guy wants to win Lombardis, and that's plural with an S, my friend. So you best be watching out this season, I'm telling you.
It's interesting to hear that Big Ben said that this is the first time in about 12 years that he has no pain in the elbow. Even at 38.
Right. I mean, exactly right. And the thing is, right, I mean, I have to keep going back to this. Without Big Ben, we're 8-5. We're going to the playoffs. We choked the last 3 games. We end up 8-8. As you said earlier on, Jason, we've got a top 1-2 defense. Even if Big Ben comes back at 75%, we should still be making the playoffs. If we can keep the guys fit, the D remains as good as it was.
It will
get the offense rolling. I admit, you've got teams like the Ravens, the Chiefs. Denver are going to be stronger this year. Titans look strong. But at the end of the day, the Steelers, Tomlin, they know what they're doing. They've got a chance every single year. So, Hellhound, don't write them off, my friend.
No, and then the other thing I wanted to say too is it's like a little bit that I kind of talked about with the way that the Steelers evaluate receivers, right? So, James Washington, Juju Smith-Schuster, the guy that I am super excited for you guys is Deontay Johnson. The stats may not jump out at you about Deontay Johnson, right? This is the correlation, right, between stats and film, right? So I have a lot of discussions about this, right? People say, oh, well, look at his stats. Well, I say, oh, well, look at his film. So while Deontay Johnson didn't impress numbers-wise, he led the league in separation, meaning when he's running routes, he's open. Now, if his quarterback isn't Duck Hodges or Mason Rudolph, that's going to turn the money. And that's how I feel about Deontay Johnson. Okay. And Deontay Johnson is good enough to play on the outside, and he allows Juju Smith-Schuster to kick back into the slot where Juju Smith-Schuster is going to eat on any sort of second, third option out of the defense trying to guard him in the slot. Remember, Juju tried to do something last year. They tried to turn him into Antonio Brown. Sometimes you're smashing a square into a circle peg round, like a hole, right? Mm-hmm. That's the issue. Now, if you can flank Juju Smith-Schuster in the slot with James Washington, who can play on the outside, and Deontay Johnson, now you're talking about an offense that's about to get back to where they were 2 years ago when Big Ben threw for 5,000 yards. Now, he threw it 600 times, and I guarantee you they're not going to want to do that again, especially at his age. But this offense should take a huge step forward just based on the quarterback. That's it.
Yeah, and people don't realize as well that Connor had, quite a few games out. Juju had games out. Even Deontay Johnson had games out. If we can keep these guys fit, obviously they've added Ebron, which is going to be a huge weapon. And Chase Claypool, our draft pick that we picked up this year. The guy, on all accounts, he looks really good. Obviously, he's not going to sort of come straight in, but he looks like he can block. He looks like he's going to be a weapon. Hashtag Mapletron, we're going to sort of bring it in. The guy looks great. So we're going to be all over the field. I mean, the Ravens, but I'm not even thinking about the Bungles and the Browns, because at the end of the day, the Ravens, we're taking over top spot, I'm afraid, boys. I haven't come behind. Boys, honestly, there's been way too much San Francisco love on this show, so
there is. Hey, look, I mean, I tried. Next time I come on, I promise you, I'm just gonna bring film clips of everybody else. Like, I won't like go like
Can you also bring film? Can you also bring film clips against teams that have actually got decent defenses, rather than a team that had to draft every single player in defense, like the Panthers, because their defense was shocking last year?
What I'll do is this. Look, we'll split it down the middle, right? So the next time I come out, we're gonna talk defense, right? I'll bring Steelers film, I'll bring 49ers film, and I'll bring some of the top 4 or 5 defenses and what they do and how and why they're a top 5 defense.
Can you also bring
that's perfectly you brought it in now, isn't it, Nick?
Say again, Nick?
I said, can you also bring film of Big Ben getting injured and then having to watch Duck Hodges and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer?
I do not want to torture your audience. And then that's torture myself trying to go back and watch that stuff, man. Like it's so look, for just a small piece of, I guess, context, right? The game that Mason Rudolph started against the 49ers, this is not a lie. 3 passes were thrown past the line of scrimmage. 3. One of them was a touchdown to Deontay Johnson, which they brought in Jason Verrett to cover Deontay Johnson, and he hadn't played in 3 years because of all the injuries. Deontay Johnson runs right by him, and Mason Rudolph has he couldn't miss that throw. Every other throw was a screen, was right in front of the line of scrimmage. Like, he's not a good quarterback. I'm sorry.
He wasn't ready to come in. You know, he wasn't brought in to be the Steelers QB number 1 last year. He's there. He's a project. He's sitting behind Ben. He's going to learn. Unfortunately, it was too soon for him, and that's what happens. And there's probably 28 other teams in the NFL. If Q1 goes down, unfortunately, you're going to be struggling.
For sure.
That's what happens. Hellhound. This is the reason I don't drink beer. But don't drink off beer, Hellhound, because it just makes you talk stupid stuff. So that's the reason we don't drink craft.
It's actually been a really good show for comments as well, guys. We've never had either so much banter going on in the chat, and also just everyone is loving what you're doing, Jason. So we really appreciate you. It's and
having fun, Pete and I learning. That's what we want to do.
I mean, if you guys want, because this is about an hour and a half. I can show you one more play, and then just so because we've done passing plays. I want to show you one more run play, and I want to show you one that's not as sexy. Like, it's not like this huge run for a touchdown. It's a nice run for sure, but I want to show you small things that the 49ers do. So I'll do that one more time. We'll run one more, and then I guess whatever you guys want.
Let me hook you up.
Sure.
You can never see enough 49ers good play. Unfortunately, you won't see Steelers on here. So
please tell me this isn't going to Kittle and Kittle just monstering past every single person on the field.
See, I try to stay away from those plays, because those are plays that are great in everybody's mind. Like, we know that play. Like, that play, it's burned right here in my mind. That's an option route that they got into the huddle, and Jimmy Garoppolo was like, I'm not doing any reads. He looked at Kittle, get open, and I'm throwing you the ball. So essentially what he did was he juked him with a run, an outside move, and an inside move, and he went right back outside, and that was it. Like, that's just get the ball out of your hands and let your guy do it. Like, that's not there's nothing beautiful about that play, right? That's just like, you know what? This is money time. We're gonna throw all of the complicated stuff out, and we're just gonna play football on this play and make sure we get it done. That's what Kittle did. Here's a little bit something different. This is a run play, okay? And I do want to highlight George Kittle, and I want to highlight Kendrick Bourne right here, okay? Because this play is not successful without either of them, okay? There's a great job up front of holding their blocks and allowing Matt Breida to work. But I want to show you something real quick. So we're going to start this play up, right? So this looks like, here's what the 49ers are beautiful at doing with their running game. This right here, the way Jimmy Garoppolo is turning, implies that this run is going to the right. Everybody's moving to the right. Everyone, right? Like, this looks like, look where Matt Breida is going. It looks like he's handing this off and he's going to take it up here, right? You can already see the linebackers shading that way. That's the point of showing that misdirection right there, is so that linebackers can move off of their momentum, get caught on the wrong foot, and you can cut this back and open up lanes. So Here, this lineman, Joe Staley right here, has got him, okay? Now, what I want you to notice is George Kittle is going to go right into this hole here, right? This is the hole that they want to hit, right here. But Breida's going to have to take this and cut it back this way. But there's 1, 2, 3 guys here, right? Here, let me slow it down a little bit better, too. Von Bell right here was playing up here. He walked down into the box, okay? So he walks down into the box because he wants to cover George Kittle because in case it's a run. So we're going to see the play develop. You want to see George Kittle right here. Now watch what George Kittle does. George Kittle knows that this defender right here doesn't need to be blocked. Why? His own defender right here is blocking him, is in his way. What do? You make sure you turn that block inside, grab him, and you seal this off. Seal it off. What I want you to watch is not only Kittle, I want you to see Kendrick Bourne and how aware he is right here. Here's the block right here. Look at Kendrick Bourne picking up Von Bell and sealing him off. Look at this cutback lane that comes right here. Goodbye. By the time you get to this level here, he has the worst angle to try and tackle somebody as fleet foot as Matt Breida. Goodbye. That's easy. And that all happens from those 2 small blocks. That's it. Like this is what makes this amazing. This block by Kittle, this block by Kendrick Bourne is exactly what sets all this up. And I'm going to play it for you in real time so you guys can see it. Block, block, boom. And that's not play calling. That's not, wizardry or anything like that. That is knowing your assignment, doing your job, and committing to the game plan. So we'll watch it. This is a great angle right here too. We'll go a little bit slower. So again, the play develops right here. He's under center. Jimmy's going to turn, sell this thing right. Everybody's moving right. There it is right there. Kittle picks up him, and he's already pinned in here with Lincoln Tomlinson. And Kendrick Bourne has picked up Von Bell. That's it. That's stealing. So let's just watch it from the normal view, and we'll watch it one more time, and you guys will understand completely. Like these are the sort of things that need to happen for these plays to be successful. It's not a dominating running back. It's not a guy who has all the skills at running back. It's a team that's committed to their blocks, knows their assignments, and the running back knowing exactly where to go. Colts
Jace,
fan.
do them plays happen, Jace, with average running back?
For
or
sure.
do you need to be a real decent running back to really make them plays? Or what is that 50-50, a really good running back,
It really is.
Play, or is that all blocking? Any running back would have found that shoot, or is that
no? Not every running back would have found that. No. And what Kyle identifies in his running backs is speed. Matt Breida is a burner, 22.5 miles per hour with the ball in his hands. Raheem Mostert, a burner, can run 22 miles an hour. What you need to know is vision. And if you don't have vision, vision can't be taught. And that's a great point that you brought up. It's not the running back, just any running back being able to hit holes. Like we watched Trent Richardson be in this league and be terrible. Like have a hole right in front of him and literally run right into the back of his own guy. And this is a guy who dominated in college. Matt Breida is an undrafted free agent, but he understands where the play is going, and they trust him to do that. It doesn't take somebody like Saquon Barkley to execute that. It doesn't take someone like Christian McCaffrey to execute that. But not any running back can just do it.
Is that what they call a one-cut running back?
The one-cut runner is Raheem Mostert. Yeah, the one-cut runner for me is Raheem Mostert. What they do with Raheem Mostert, the way that the 49ers line up their running game is simple, right? There's Tevin Coleman in the beginning, and Tevin Coleman is like the guy that they send out in the beginning. It's like a boxer, right? Like when boxers are in their first round, what are they doing? They're sizing up their opponent. They're jabbing. They're trying to figure out, how fast you're throwing punches. That's what Tevin Coleman is. Tevin Coleman gets the tough yards in between the tackles, 3-4 yards at a time. And Kyle Shanahan then uses the information that he's gotten to deploy Raheem Mostert and attack. When he sees that he can attack you on the outside, Raheem Mostert's a beautiful, beautiful example of getting the ball, seeing the blocks, putting your foot in the ground, and one cut, he's gone. And when he gets that full head of steam, there's not many guys that can bring him down. So yeah, you're absolutely right about the one cut runner thing. Like you have to be decisive and you have to know where the holes are. And Tevin Coleman is utilized in a way where, one, Kyle trusts him because he was with Atlanta. And two, he gets those tough yards that allows him to open up the running game, because Raheem Mostert doesn't start. Tevin Coleman does. Raheem Mostert comes in when they've identified where to attack, and that's when he does his best work.
That's right, because Coleman isn't a flashy runner.
No.
He's the battering ram, as you say. And that, again, this goes with what Jason was saying about the scripted plays. He'll send Coleman in there to work out what scheme the defense are trying to run. And then once 5, 6, 7 plays, maybe a run, that's when he'll send in, well, it was Breeder first until he started fumbling, and then Mostert. And then you've got that sussed, and the things like the motion and things on passing plays will show the defense's hand, which then, again, and this is any coach. I know obviously we've been using the 49ers, but this shows all of the coaches what the defense are doing, and then they counteract that, which then makes the big plays, which is what the game's about, obviously.
For sure. And yeah, and
it's been an awesome breakdown.
To Pete's point, honestly, I think that's a great point, Pete, of, can any running back, because I see 49er fans saying that a lot, we don't need, because Raheem Mostert requests a trade, wants to get paid, and they're like, oh, well, we'll just put anybody. I don't know about that. Like, it's not just anybody. We can't just pick anybody up off the street and have them execute in this offense. I don't think that's true. So, yeah, I mean, it's a great point by Pete that running backs, they're not all created equal. There's talented guys who are the fastest running backs in the world, have amazing footwork, have no sort of vision, and they'll never be successful. It's all about being patient and knowing where the blocks are going to be lined up at and when to attack. Like Le'Veon Bell.
I mean, is it going to be even better for you guys this year, knowing that obviously Breeder's not, am I right in thinking Breeder's not there for you guys this year?
No,
right?
he's in Miami.
So he's going to be. So obviously knowing that he's going to be sort of coming in a little bit earlier on in the season, I'm guessing there's going to be more plays drawn up for him. So we may see a little bit more in a sort of running game early doors for you guys.
Well, what we're going to see this year, right, with Breeder gone, Breeder went to Miami. What we're going to see is Coleman and Mostert as the primary ball carriers, but Jerick McKinnon is going to unlock something in this offense that hasn't been there. So Jerick McKinnon is going to be in on third downs. And the 49ers have never had a running back who can run routes as well as him, or had a running back who, when the play breaks down on third down, can get into space and Jimmy has another security blanket. So we're about to unlock a new wrinkle in this offense, which is going to be tough to stop. The reason that I say that is not anything that I've heard. It's just the front office tells you everything that you need to know about certain players, right? So when Kyle Shanahan joined, Jerick McKinnon was the first signing. And people were like, why? Jerick McKinnon was a timeshare guy in Minnesota, and he it seems like Kyle identified him as the focal point of the offense that he wanted to run. And it's because of Jerick McKinnon's speed. It's because of Jerick McKinnon's route running. So Jerick McKinnon tears his ACL year 1, tears his ACL again year 2, and then the 49ers restructured and found a way to get him back on the team because they want to use him. Like that's just me taking what the front office is giving you. I haven't heard anybody say anything like that. But if you look at the way that they've handled Jerick McKinnon, they're about to unlock him in a way that is going to be hard for defenses to gravitate to. Linebackers are going to have a tough time covering Jerick McKinnon in space. He's been killing in camp. Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, Quan Alexander. Those 3 guys are our 3 best cover linebackers, and he's been giving them a lot of work, and he hasn't played in 2 years. So Browns are using less linebackers and more safeties this year. Any views on this strategy? It all depends on what the Browns are trying to do, right? Are they trying to dare teams to throw? The problem is now, how are you gonna, with the injuries to Grant Delpit, and I think Greedy Williams just went down. I don't see how that change in philosophy towards safeties makes sense at this point. When you drafted Grant Delpit to be back there, you have Denzel Ward and you have Greedy Williams on the outside. It's just it's a little bit weird for me now that you're going to be having to dip into second and third string safeties with Grant Delpit being out for the year, and we don't know what you guys are. So it really is. It depends on. This is why we need preseason, right? For them to try all these new things out. Now week 1, everybody's going to be trying out some new stuff. So expect a lot of sloppy football in week 1, guys. Like a lot of sloppy football, because guys, especially teams that have no continuity. If you have a new system, you have a new quarterback, you have new players, it's going to take them a while to get going in game speed. For the teams like the Steelers, the 49ers, the Chiefs, the Ravens, all of those guys have continuity. They literally can wake up and go to work because they have a whole year of it. All they're doing is just taking the next step. But if you're implementing a new system, it's going to be sloppy in the beginning. Trust me.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be sloppy. Just think week 3 Niners, and that's what we're going to be seeing week 5.
No. Pete, don't say that. That was a horrible game. No. That game
Don't worry,
frustrating.
Jason. I'll kick him off the stream in a minute. It's fine. If he starts too much, I've got the buttons. You know.
Hey, look, at the end of the day, the 49ers played sloppy and they wound up with the win. There's no reason that a team should turn the ball over 5 times and win a game. No reason. Yeah, none.
Man. Steelers losers over here.
Every time.
You have your 6, and me and Nick won it. So you have something that we want.
Every time he brings up that game last year, I just say, but who won? Who won? I don't care. We could turn the ball over 50 times. I don't care. Mm-hmm. Your team were garbage, and the Niners won.
It was just the quarterback. And then the thing that happened at the end, James Conner, who I love James Conner. His story is incredible. The kid can play. Unfortunately, he fumbled at the end of the game when you guys had a chance to lock it up because Jimmy threw an interception in the red zone, and I was just that interception infuriated me. That one wasn't off of somebody's. That was a bad throw. You threw it too high, and when it bounces off someone's hands, it's up there for grabs. That was on Jimmy. If James Conner doesn't fumble, that game's a loss.
For sure. Right,
but it
This has been an absolute blast, and I've loved every minute of this. Nick, do you want to tell everybody what we're going to be breaking down next week? Because I know this is offense a little bit more for me. But next week, you're going to be in your element because we're going to be talking defense. Is that right?
Next week, Jason is making a welcome return, and we are going to be speaking defense. Obviously, people that don't know, I played middle linebacker. I played inside on the defensive line. And as I said to Jason, Dick Butkus is my all-time hero. So if you can find just one play where he rips someone's head off or just kills someone, then I'll be a happy man.
I'm sorry I could pick that up. Unfortunately, NFL Game Pass, it doesn't allow us to look past 2014.
Oh, well then, what I'll have to do then, Pete and I will have to get together and I'll get some shoulder pads and a helmet for him. I've already got mine in the loft. I'll wipe out
like
Pete.
A phoenix from the flames.
I
be hilarious, and
I have nothing but respect for anybody who's actually played this game, right? I love this game so much that I wanted to learn about it, but I tried to play football in high school. Thank you, Hellhound. I appreciate you. I played football in high school for one day of camp, Nick and Pete. One day. And when I got laid out on special teams by 2 guys who were going to be going to Division I college, and there was no flag or anything like that, I was like, I'm going to go back to playing baseball and basketball. I'll just watch football. I'm not built physically to play football.
We are truly blessed that you've decided not to play football and start breaking plays down. Because
exactly.
You're definitely you're right up there on the top echelons of breaking plays down for us. So I really appreciate it, Jason.
Yeah. I'm trying. Thank God, Jason, that you were not built to play football, because otherwise you wouldn't be doing what you're doing, and we really appreciate it. As I say, next week is going to be a defensive breakdown, and then holy Shantclubnfl Eve, we have got such a great show lined up for you on the 12th of September. We have got returning to the Shantclubnfl, Mr. Jeff Reinbolt, Sky Sports, Hamilton T-Cats. He coached in Kansas City, and he is going to be with us for a good few hours doing what I hope will be a division by division, who's going to win, who's going to come last, worst to first, all that kind of stuff. So look out for that. That may be a bit later because Chip Pan Simba has got to get his hair cut. That's why he's got a hat on.
we'll see. We'll see what happens. You know,
Look at that beard.
It takes a long time to look this good, Nick. It takes a long time to look this good, Jason.
I can't grow a beard like that, Pete. I'm in the infant stages of my my awful beard. And yesterday, when you guys saw me, like, remember when we were testing everything out? You guys were like, "Oh, you need sleep." I was like, you know what? I was like, I think I need to get a haircut if I'm going to be on with these guys. I don't want to, I don't want to be looking, like awful or anything like that. So, and this morning I made myself
you're looking fresh, man.
Thank you. I want that beard.
You definitely fly.
Perhaps I should do a big. Maybe I should do a Big Ben sort of video of my sort of beard getting trimmed and hair getting cut, and then I'll be good to go for the beginning of the season.
That's it.
Back rather
just
than
don't put it out on Shantclubnfl because we don't want to see that shit on our channel.
Right, guys. I don't want to see that shit.
Thank you guys for having me. I've had a blast, man. Like I've always dreamt of doing stuff like this. Like when I embarked on this endeavor of sports writing and things like that. And I've always wanted to I've always wanted to speak with the British, like, on how they view football, right? Like, like I've always been confused. Again, I'll say it again. I've always been confused as if why the NFL wants to make it happen in London, in England. Why do you keep sending the Jacksonville Jaguars? Like, make the Patriots go, make the Packers go, make them once. If it's going to be one game a year, make the better teams go. And you guys will really, really, really be into the game if you didn't have to watch Blake Bortles.
The issue with that, Jason, is unfortunately, the home teams have to give up a home game.
Yep.
And I mean, I was surprised when the Niners came over, giving up a home game at Candlestick, as it was then. But the Steelers are never going to. Steelers won't leave the 57 Variety Stadium. I don't know if the Patriots will, but that's the issue, unfortunately, is the Packers definitely wouldn't leave Lambeau to come to London and lose a home game.
No, and for people who don't know about Green Bay, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. And this is why for the people that don't know about Green Bay doesn't have an owner. The city owns the Packers. And when the Packers play in Lambeau, everything shuts down. There's no businesses open because of that. And they are too much. That town, that is their life. So they would never give up a home game ever. You're absolutely right about that.
And you and I do have, as Pete knows, I do have a soft spot for the Jags, as bad as they are, because they give up a lot. They come over. It's not their fault that they are so bad that the opponents they get are quite bad as well. So it's a kind of a double-edged sword. And we were talking the other week about if a franchise came to London, would people support it? Would it be their new team? And I can see it working, but I know Pete's the same, and you're probably the same. You cannot stop loving your team just because another team turns up. You can't do it, and that's the only issue I think a franchise coming to London would have, because they're not going to be Super Bowl contenders for 5-10 years, whatever it is. So if they suck all the time and they're 2-14 or whatever for quite a few years, that's where the interest would wane. Whereas as we got it at the moment with the international series with 3-4 games, you do get a lot of teams come through, and you always see jerseys from every single team. That it's not like going to a soccer game where you've got your home supporters wearing the home team and the away supporters that go wearing the away team. Every team is represented, and it sells out within minutes, Pete, right? The international series.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we struggle to get our
so I can't see how
we're on the list.
I can't see how a franchise would. I want to see it, don't get me wrong, because it might mean if it's a team that the Niners come up against quite a lot, then happy days. I get to see my team, but I don't know. I think the jury is still out.
we've got to make sure the Jags are always here, because otherwise our buddy Robson from Jags GB will need a big cuddle and we'll have to wipe the tears from his eyes if the Jags don't keep coming over. So Robson might be a little bit.
Or we could take him to
if the
Trafalgar
Jags don't
Square
keep
and
coming
throw him in one of the water fountains or something, just to sober him up a bit, possibly.
What I find
I'm done watching I was just going to say I'm done watching Jackson Duval, whatever his name is, jumping from the roof of Wembley Stadium. It's about time we saw some new people come over.
Well, the thing is too, what's weird about it, right? Because like, you know, my love is football, but my real love about football is fantasy football, right? Like I have my own fantasy football podcast and I'm deep into it and everything as well. So what's funny about the Jags going over there is there's something about when the Jags go over there that Blake Bortles transforms into this NFL quarterback who is completely adequate and can play whenever he plays over there. And we call him over here, we call him London Bortles. Like when those games would happen and we would preview those games, we're starting Blake Bortles this week. Why? The game's in London. There's no way he's not going to ball out. And usually, I want to say of the 4 games he's played there, 3 of them have been him going insane in these games for fantasy purposes. So we call him there's something about when he gets on that plane and he gets halfway over that all of a sudden he transforms into something that's called London Bortles. And it's something that you can't quantify.
Is he still at the Rams?
No, he's out of the league.
Best place for him.
Yes. The crazy part is this, right? And this is, and I mean, because we could talk all day, but I don't want to like keep you guys all day, but remember the Jaguars were in the AFC Championship, right? And Blake Bortles was their quarterback. That's how quick your window closes. That's how fast your window closes. This is the part about, I hate to bring it back to the 49ers, right? I'm optimistic as anybody, right? But when you get that close to winning a Super Bowl, there is no guarantee that you're getting back there. None. Everything has to break your way for you to get there. To have that happen back-to-back years outside of the Patriots, we don't see that. It doesn't happen.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird game. As you say, it's going to be interesting to see what happens this year with a lot of teams. We touched on Baltimore. We've touched on the Steelers, obviously the Niners. Scott in here is a Chief fan.
The Chiefs have to be talked about. The Saints have to be talked about. Seattle has to be talked about. We're at an amazing point in the league where there's a lot of parity right now. That's the beauty. Every year there's always a team that's from worst to first. Always. Every year. Set your watch to it. There's going to be a team who finished last year that is going to be in first place. And it just happens every year. That's just how it breaks. Whether you have injuries, whether you have a new coach, whether you have a new philosophy, there's always that one team that finds a way to go from worst to first. And I can't wait to figure out who that's going to be this year because it's going to blow us away.
Just glad
one more thing before we go. Just going to go around the table quickly. Who's your sleeper team for this year, Jason?
Me, the Colts. And I don't even necessarily think that they're really a sleeper team because they added Phillip Rivers. They added in the draft, I think is really what really I'm excited about. Jonathan Taylor at running back. They added Michael Pittman. And that offensive line is the best in the game. Best in the game. Quentin Nelson. We could do an entire show of watching Quentin Nelson pancake giant men and not let them in. And the Colts are my sleeper team. This is a team that last year had Jacoby Brissett starting for them when we lost Andrew Luck, unfortunately. This team has a great defense. They just got DeForest Buckner from us. Darius Leonard is incredible. Defensive Rookie of the Year. Rock Yassin. They have a lot of great players on that defense. Phillip Rivers is going to upgrade that offense. The Colts are going to be a team to reckon with this year. And it would not shock me at all if they won their division this year.
Yeah, I do like the Colts, and I agree with what you say there. If the Phillip Rivers of last season turns up, boy, are they in trouble.
Yeah, it is. But even him, and that's a valid concern for sure. But you have to remember that, the Falcons are another team that I was going to say that I think everybody's kind of just forgetting about. They're like lying but they have so many offensive weapons. And again, I just pledge my love for Matt Ryan. I know that offense is going to be fine. The defense is really where the concern comes in. But with the Colts, it's absolutely a valid concern about Phillip Rivers, 100%. I would still contend that Phillip Rivers last year might still be better than Jacoby Brissett was last year. But the issue with this is that Phillip Rivers turned the ball over too much. But Frank Reich, I think, understands that and is a good enough head coach and offensive mind to stop that from happening as much. You're still going to get those boneheaded Rivers. You're going to get those bonehead Rivers interceptions. Like, that's just in his DNA. That's it. But it still might be a slight upgrade over Jacoby Brissett. And they're going to run the ball enough where Phillip Rivers doesn't have to chuck it all the time.
Because, last year, Phillip Rivers was
bad.
Was Pete in disguise.
He was awful.
But that's it.
Just going back
Pete,
to the Atlanta Falcons. Just going back to the Falcons UK. Yeah, well, obviously they were saying that they are a sleeper team. They certainly make you fall asleep. So yeah, they're about right. Looking forward to hanging out with Danny and Cal this week. We're going to believe I'm going to be joining them on their show this week. I'm looking forward to it, lads, and hopefully we can have a little bit of banter. You can give it back because it will be your show rather than ours. Sleeper team, not really a sleeper team, but I'm still sticking with the Houston Texans. I still believe that they're going to be up there again. I just think they were so close last time against the Chiefs. Apart from a couple of bonehead sort of plays that Bill O'Brien sort of ended up sort of choosing, they really should have sort of won that game. They should never have let the Chiefs come back into it. Watson's going to be even stronger this year. I know, again, losing Hopkins is going to be a huge, huge loss, but they've still got 4 big weapons that they can still use there. The famous shampoo running back team that they've got there of Johnson & Johnson, they're going to be sort of doing well.
David and Duke.
See what I did there. That was pretty cool.
David and Duke.
Their defense, I think, will sort of be, it's not going to be amazing, but I think it will sort of carry them through. So I still personally think the Houston Texans could possibly sort of still raise a few eyebrows this year.
Cool.
What about you, Nick?
How long did it take you to work out that cockamamie line of Johnson & Johnson? And David Johnson is done. Same as Todd Gurley is done. Forget about it.
Well, all right. So I would agree with you, Nick, about David Johnson, right? Like, I watched him last year and he just looked lethargic, right? I don't know about Todd Gurley. The reports out of camp for the Falcons, like he just started ramping up and they're like, man, he looks fast. They have to just keep him away from contact until the season starts. So I don't know about Gurley. That's really funny. There's a black button on here,
That's the thing. There was and I know a lot of players get moved on because of salary and salary cap and stuff. But to me, there was a reason why the Rams got rid of him. And a lot of stuff you hear from NFL podcasts and whatever, those knees aren't right. I don't care what anyone says. That Super Bowl run they had, they put him in cotton wool, they protected it. And what did he do in the Super Bowl? Nothing. Because he didn't have that cut, he didn't have anything. And then lo and behold, they get rid of him, right? And there's a reason why players are moved on. And it's not all to do with money. It isn't. Otherwise, 3 years down the line when Patrick Mahomes is maybe not as good and he's going to get 60 million, they'll get rid of him. Same as Gurley.
You're forgetting one thing with Gurley, mate. The boy was a Georgia. Yeah, he was a legend there. He's going back to his stomping ground, and that might be what he needs to kickstart that career again. So I think the boys are right. Don't write this fella off this season.
And one more thing, Nick, too. I don't mean to disagree with you here, but here's the other thing. Dirk Cutter, who's their offensive coordinator, he's not interested in running the ball. Not even a little. His track record speaks to that, which is why, here's a free fantasy tip. Try to get your hands on these Atlanta Falcons pieces. Julio, Calvin Ridley, who I think is going to break out this year in a way that we saw Chris Godwin do. And their pass attempts are going to be through the roof. For fantasy, that's beautiful. Todd Gurley isn't going to have 250 carries. That's not going to happen. One, because you're right. The arthritis in the knees, that doesn't go away. But there is a philosophical divide in that Dirk Cutter's not going to run the ball like that. He'll run it at goal line, but they're not going to come out and pound the ball on people. So Gurley is going to have a little bit of a lighter load. And I think they both understand. I think they understand exactly what you said, Nick, about the knees. You gotta protect him. You have to. I don't think he's done either. I really don't. Not done.
No,
but he's not the guy. He's not the guy that we saw. That's the issue.
I don't know what the Atlanta Falcons UK are either smoking or drinking, but 1,000 yards and 14 TDs. Forget it. As you say in New York, forget about it.
And you know what's funny too? One last thing too. I know we've been saying one last thing for like the 15 minutes, but remember how you said, bringing your team over here, like you can't like not like the team that you like. Well, I live over here. I'm not a Giants or a Jets fan or a Bills fan, so those teams have been here the entire time. I've always been a 49ers fan. My father taught me when I was a kid, and that's absolutely true. So if you do bring a team to London, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to move off the Niners.
Yeah. I would ever. My sleeper, Pete knows who it's going to be, and I honestly think the Denver Broncos this year are going to do something special.
Talk to me.
Pete and I, we always bring this guy up, and he never ever texts us because now he's on the cusp of being an NFL player. Cal Garrett, 47, who was at Missouri with Drew Lock and Albert. I'm not even going to. I'll just say Albert O. Albert O. Okay. Excuse me. So the defense is still a good defense.
For sure. Oh, we lost. Oh,
that's because he started talking about Denver Broncos, Jason.
The internet wasn't going to let him say it?
Yeah. I think maybe sort of like John Elway sort of come in and just wiped him out.
I don't believe it. I went for nearly 2 hours without my usual internet dropout, and then all of a sudden, bang. So I'll start again.
And start over.
That's what happens when you're in a bunker, man.
Well, that's when you're in the garage with all the shit that's going on behind me. That's what happens.
The rats are eating through the power cable again, Nick. That's what it is, mate.
No, sorry. I'm not Mikey from work, mate. I don't have Christmas lights outside our house that the rats eat through the cable because the national grid can't cope. Anyway, Drew Lock, last 5-6 games last season, showed that he can work in this system. He was amazing at Missouri. Albert O was his favourite target if he's fit. And he wasn't a security blanket. He just used to luzz it, and that was it. Forget about it. Defense is still good. They've lost a couple of pieces. They added Melvin Gordon in the running game, which I kind of a bit upset about because I thought Philip Lindsay balled out last year.
And the year before that.
And he could have had a really big season. But you need a 1-2 punch, and I understand that.
You do.
So for me, I'm looking at Denver. Are they going to win it all? Absolutely not. But I think, again, this year, because we all know that John Elway hasn't been the best GM.
He's on the clock. He's on the clock.
God, I hate that guy. God, I hate that guy.
You love Horseface
for a different reason to anybody.
What did John Elway do, Pete? Go on,
tell everyone, and then let me tell them the real story.
So obviously, Timmy Tebow is my boy, right, from the Gators, and there he is. He takes over a 1-4 Denver Broncos from Carl Orton. Takes them to the playoff. Unfortunately, he beats the Steelers in the playoffs with an overtime pass.
Yep.
But then all of a sudden, what a great season the guy's done. And what does Elway do? He brings in Manning. Tebow's done. Off to the Jets. Ryan makes a complete fool of him. He's then done. It just made me realise how cutthroat the NFL was because, it sucked. But that's the only reason I hate Elway. Because I felt like he didn't give Tebow any respect for what he did at the Denver Broncos. I guess he saw the fact that he had a window of opportunity. He was never going to win a Super Bowl with Tebow. Manning was available, fair play, but still horse face. still
Nick
doesn't.
Nick is too much. Look, the thing is this with Elway, right? Elway's on the clock, okay? Because you're right. He did pivot from Tebow to Manning, and guess what? It resulted in a Super Bowl, even when Peyton Manning was the ghost of Peyton Manning at that point. But every single other quarterback he's brought in has been awful. Paxton Lynch, Brock Osweiler, Trevor Siemian.
What's wrong with Paxton Lynch? He's lighting it up as our 4th-string QB at the moment.
He should be your 2nd-string QB right now at this point. Goodness gracious. I don't understand why he's 4th. But it's just
he's stuck in training camp.
Without winning that Super Bowl, John Elway is probably fired at this point, and he doesn't have this leeway to try Drew Lock now. So Nick, what did you say was the real story behind this? So Pete's saying it's Tebow, and you said you have the real story as to why he doesn't like it.
The story is, right, Pete loves the failure that is Tim Tebow in the NFL. I've never seen such a fanboy.
What a guy.
And he keeps telling me, "Oh, he's brilliant, and I call him T-Boy because has Pete been on the Fosters? Pete has probably had about 20 cans of Fosters. Tim Tebow was garbage, and I don't care what he says. He was probably, in fact, no, I'm going to say this now live. John Elway is my hero for getting rid of Tebow.
Wow.
Garbage.
I love the philosophical divides on this between the two of you. Like I
right,
really,
isn't it?
Like I can't wait to come back next week. I can't wait. Like this banter between you guys is incredible. You guys have something right here, I swear.
Thing is, it's like this all
week
at work, Jason. It just doesn't stop, but it just intensifies when we both get on camera.
So it's just like I think that's any group of friends. Like the way that men show affection for each other is through jokes on each other, right? Like I think
there's no affection between the pair of us. We hate each other's guts.
That joke right there implies that there is right there. Like you wouldn't make fun of him if you didn't.
Jason, it's a love-hate relationship.
For sure, and that's what all love-hate.
He loves
when you've seen this guy in his tighty whities, I mean, you know, there is definitely no love there. I can assure you of that.
Yeah.
at least I kept mine on, Pete. That's all I need to say.
So I can purge my mind of that thought.
Yeah, Jason, please do. Yeah. Right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. We've gone over 2 hours.
Yep.
It's been an amazing 2 hours. It's been fun. It's been informative. And Gators legend.
No, he is. He is, though. Like, we need to have a discussion about Tim Tebow being one of the top 1, 2, 3 college football players of all time. It's not a discussion for that. For sure.
Well, it's not a debate. It's not a debate. He is the man.
This isn't college. This is the NFL. This is the big leagues.
You're right about that?
Jace, you know what, mate? We absolutely love that you've been on the show, and we know that you've got a lovely 3-year-old that is waiting for you to get back to her. So we really appreciate the fact that you've spent time on the show early morning over on the East Coast. We definitely owe you a New York bagel when we come and see you, buddy. So thank you very much for your time.
For sure. And I'll show you guys. I'll take you guys to get. I'll take you guys to get some real good pizza.
Excellent stuff. And mate, seriously, I'm so happy that you are training me, mentoring me. I love it because I learn absolutely nothing from Nick. So Jace, it's great to actually have someone on the show that can actually teach me something proper about the game rather than just how to drink beer all day long.
That's part of it. That's about 75% of it, Pete. Just drinking beer and stuff, man. Like that's 75% of it.
Can I just say, Pete did try and learn because the first Niners game we went to at Wembley, I bought a Patrick Willis shirt, made him wear it, then disappeared with the tickets for 4 hours in the tailgate. He's ringing me. I've switched my phone on silent because I didn't want to deal with him. Then he finally caught up to me and he's like, "Oh, wow, I found you. I'm really pleased, really pleased." I was talking to this German girl who then spoke to Pete, who then threw red wine all over him.
Why?
I can't remember, but it was hilarious.
What, the jersey's red?
Well, yeah, I mean, to be fair, maybe it was the fact that I really didn't care for the jersey that I was wearing, and it made no difference to me or not, whether it got ruined or not. But
that hurts.
I
That hurts.
didn't
Pete.
even think.
That hurts, Pete.
Nick,
49ers fans love Patrick Willis. He's our guy.
There you go. Right, guys, let's wrap this up. Jason, looking forward to next week. Thanks for coming in. Pete, as always, respect.
I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys so much, honestly, guys. I'm humbled that you guys allowed me to come on here and talk ball with you. And I'm looking forward to Saturday. And I want to thank you guys for opening up your platform to me.
We love you, Jason. Thanks for joining.
Nick, make sure you let us know if you manage to find them sort of archived Niners stuff at the back of the garage.
Right? He had to like end it on that, right? Like he had to just like.
Oh no, but he won't, because all I'm going to say, Pete, is can I borrow Big Ben's Rohypnol that he used and then got off of a charge and paid that woman? We love you all. We are done. Take care.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, Jace.
All right. Thank you, guys.